Welcome to What? That Old Queen? A candid and adult take on queer life quandaries at a certain age. So please listen at your own discretion. Presented by Bernie and Tommy, the views here are purely those of the content providers and in no way reflect those of any service you may hear this program on. Now, please let your ears be upstanding for the Old Queens.
How's your week been, Tommy?
Full of nature to start with, up on the Brecon Beacons hills, horse riding, lots of red wine, lots of conversations, sat in front of an open fire, lots of foraging for mushrooms as well, because we were with a group of foragers who were very into that side of life.
When you say a group of foragers, are they people that just forage for their food?
Well, there was one in particular, really, and he makes his career out of taking people for forage walks.
Is he an exclusive forager?
No, I've seen him in a packet of crisps.
Okay, good. That makes me feel better about my life. I very often forage in supermarkets.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. And it depends what's in season, to be honest, as to what I get.
Well, in Lidl, they have a whole seasonal section.
Good.
So I'm always there thinking, what can I do with a radish?
Have you got any radish recipes?
I like to cut up a radish rather finely. Also a pear. Make a dressing of lemon and vinegar and chill it as a salad, even stick up a few ice cubes on it so it's very crisp, and that's quite a nice salad.
Ooh, radish is quite hot though, isn't it?
It's got a spice, it's got a kick to it, but not like...
It's not like a chili pepper?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's quite watery.
Yeah, I think I quite like radish.
I love them.
Yeah, they're probably very good for you as well.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah, maybe I'll look up what they're...
Yeah, come over to the radish side of the table. We're having fun over here.
Well, what do you do? Is there any other special things you do with the radish?
I just stick them in a salad.
Is there?
Really.
I mean, is there a kinky act with a radish? Like there is with a bit of ginger.
Really maybe I would say that they're too small to do much with.
Okay, we don't have anything small.
No.
Okay. But on a different level, in medieval France, sex poems were very popular.
Oh, okay.
So before Pornhub, people were getting their rocks off by listening to travelling players perform. I mean, you're a travelling player. This would have been you in medieval France.
Composing the sex poems.
Composing and performing the sex poems. Will get their rocks off by listening to travelling players performing comic, filthy sex tales and poems called fabulo.
I mean, that's what I do.
This
is me.
This is your career. And they used to have titles like The Maiden Who Couldn't Hear Fuck, The Knight The Knight Who Made Cunts and Arseholes Speak, The Priest Who Peaked, and The Bear Ranger of the Long Arsehole.
Have you ever listened to James Joyce's love, or read his love poems to his girlfriend?
No.
They're so filthy. They're like, I want you to fart in my mouth and again fart, and it's really funny.
Oh my God. Yeah. I didn't know James Joyce did racy poems like that.
Well, they're just letters, but yeah.
Okay. Did he have a fart fetish?
I think just a whole, just, what you call it? Just anything anal. I had a barbecue on Saturday, and I put the barbecue on a wooden chopping board. which was a bad idea because it burned the chopping board all the way through.
Yeah,
it was also on a
safety.
wooden table, but it didn't touch the wooden table.
No.
But I was like, this is a really strong barbecue smell. And it was actually burning the whole chopping
Quite
board.
smoky. Yeah. Have you still got it?
Well, it was one of those disposable barbecues, but I put it onto the chopping board, and then the next day's barbecue, the next day's disposable barbecue, which I've got there, and that's been burnt through a little bit. And it smells.
Oh yeah, I thought it smelled a bit smoky.
Do you know how Maria Callas managed to stay so thin?
Oh, tell me.
Well, she used to eat raw bacon because it would be full of
Worms.
tapeworms. Yeah, so they would be eating all the food that she consumed.
It's like a little parasite that eats all the calories.
Yeah.
I think I need one of those, really. It would save me a fortune in gym fees. Yeah, because I like a snack. Tapeworms. Do you think there's a kinky sex act with a tapeworm that we could maybe look up?
Let's Google.
We'll Google it. We'll Google it for the next episode. Freeze-dried ice cream is made using the same process used by the US space program to make food for astronauts on past and present space missions. So apparently it is. I mean, I didn't believe it, to be honest, but we take the ice cream you know and love, and with the power of freeze drying, create a yummy new snack, frozen in time, yet not frozen in temperature. When you remove the water from the ice cream, what do you have? A delicious, crunchy, creamy sweetness that melts in your mouth, sandwiched between two chocolatey wafer cookies. I mean, this sounds perfect, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting to me because I recently read an article which was talking about food, airplane food, and that if you were to taste the food while you were on the ground, it would taste really salty and really sugary.
But that's what Richard Dominici did.
Really?
A piece where he created a whole aeroplane, and you ate food in there.
Yeah.
To demonstrate that point. And
really?
Everyone just loved it. So it was kind of unsuccessful.
Oh.
It was a project.
That's really funny.
Apparently, freeze-dried food can be stored for many years without refrigeration, as long as you keep them in an airtight sealed container. Once open, consume within 2 days.
I think we've managed that.
Best before the date at the bottom of the packet, which is the 21st of February 2022. So, I mean, we've eaten them well within the recommended guidelines.
Give ourselves a pat on the back.
I think so.
Well done, guys.
Have you had any disastrous dates?
The only thing that springs to mind, a stupid thing, I don't know whether I should say this, just opening a wrapper of a condom and my front tooth falling out. Does that count?
That's like an embarrassing moment. Yeah, well, I guess.
Well, and also very expensive.
Yeah, well, but for
dental work.
Did you get them to pay for some of it?
I did tell them how much it cost.
Right. Did they offer?
No.
Oh. I would just send them the bill with a note saying, should we go 50-50 on this or what? Or are you paying for everything?
I'm noticing that I'm drinking 2 glasses of wine to your one.
Well, you can fill me up a bit more. I've had quite a few disastrous dates, mainly in the days of gaydar. So I had a date with a mad Dutchman, and so I'd arranged to meet him, and his profile was ION, so I was calling him Ion Man, and beforehand, because I didn't really know how to pronounce it. So I met him outside the Hippodrome, at 7:30.
Which used to be the place that you used to meet everyone.
Yeah, well, it's central. Everyone knows where it is. And I turned up, and as soon as I arrived, he started walking away. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. So I ran up and caught up with him and was like, oh, hi. And he wasn't saying anything to me, like not talking to me at all. So I was trying to make conversation. So I was like, oh, so how do you pronounce your name? And he went, Jan. And I was like, Jan? He was like, yes, Jan. So I was like, okay, I think he's a little bit angry with me for some reason. So, and I was like, oh, and what do you do again? And he was like, swimming instructor. And I was like, okay, so you're a swimming instructor. He's like, yes, swimming instructor. I was like, okay, so you're a swimming instructor, great. And I instantly smiled to myself because I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a story. So he wanted to go to the Rummer to have a drink, and it was closed, and he had a fit because it was closed. He was like stamping his foot and in a rage, and I mean, I should have seen warning signs then, really, shouldn't I?
I was going to say I can relate to that.
Well,
they do really nice cocktails in there.
They do, and he obviously wanted a nice place for us to go. And I was like, look, just calm down. I said, there's a lovely place called Renato's just around the corner. We'll go there and have a drink. It'll be fine. So we go to Renato's, have a drink, and he has a pint, and I have a glass of wine. And I notice as we're talking, his pint is going down really, really quickly.
Like my glass of wine.
He was like, do you like sipping the wine? And I was like, yes, I like sipping the wine. I said, you obviously don't like sipping the beer. And I said, well, so you're from Sweden, Holland? Dutch people? Where are Dutch people from? Dutchland. And I said, oh, so what do you...
No.
Denmark. Copenhagen.
Oh, God, that's terrible. You can edit this.
Tulips from Amsterdam. Anyway, I said, so what do you... How is it living in England? You know, how different is this from where you normally live? And he was like, what I don't like is when people say that they will do one thing, but they don't. And I was like, well, what do you mean? When they say they're going to do something and they don't do it? And I was like, so what do you mean by that? And he's going, well, for example, tonight, you late. And I was like, what? He said, you were late. And I was like, oh, how late was I? He went, 3 minutes. I was like, oh, 3 minutes. Is that a problem for you? And he was like, no problem. He said, but next time you're late, I don't come. I was like, okay, fine. Do you want another drink? Great. So I went up to the bar, and some friends of mine were there. They'd just come in, and I said, look, can you come and join our table, because I'm on a date with this strange man who seems to be rather angry with me for some reason which I can't fathom. But come and join us and have a chat. So they joined, and we're having a laugh and a joke, and he kind of acts a bit distant from the group and kind of sits, you know, opposite. And there's like a gas fire in this place, not an open fire, it's a gas fire. And someone came in handing out flyers, and they just handed him a flyer, and he just threw it on this gas fire. My friend was like, did he just throw the... I was like, yeah, he did. It's fine, don't worry about it. And then another friend in the group had this hat, and we were all trying on the hats and just, you know, looking funny and having a nice joke and stuff. And so I thought I need to bring him into the conversation, bring him back into the group. And so I put the hat on his head, and it stayed there for all of like 20 seconds, and then he lifted it off and threw it into the fire. Meanwhile, Mrs. Renato, Mama Renato, who runs the place, comes in, looks at the fire, looks at him, looks at me. I'm like, it's nothing to do with me. Giving me daggers. And then I was like, I think we better leave. So I managed to get him up and go. I still slept with him. But, yeah. But why would you not?
But the friend whose hat, what happened to them?
Well, I mean, I think they were annoyed. I mean, he was...
I've got it in my head that it's a beret.
It wasn't a beret. It was actually a trilby type hat. So it was a quite... Yeah, it was a meaty hat. It wasn't like something flimsy. So I was going to burn for a while. Anyway, it was a little bit of a disaster. I did sleep with him. He had a good time. I didn't. And then I decided I was going to leave. And he really didn't want me to. And tried to force me to stay. And I was like, no, I'm leaving. And left. And I just thought, I'm going to forget this. This whole disaster of a date, I'm going to forget. And that'll be over.
Now, I'm just thinking that if we were to play out at this moment, we would have Tom Jones singing You Can Leave Your Hat On.
You can. Well, I thought that was the end of it, but it wasn't. So do you remember years ago there used to be a magazine which was like Time Out called Venue in Bristol. And it used to have a little section. They actually made a TV programme out of it. It was called I Saw You.
Remember it very well.
And you'd always look through it every week to see if anyone saw you. And obviously they hadn't. Anyway, I was an avid I Saw You reader, just in case, someone had. And there weren't one, but 3 references to the hat burning ritual in Renato's on Friday night.
But not from him.
Not from him, from people that were just in Renato. I mean, it was packed on a Friday night. It was very busy. And there was me reading it, mortified, thinking, oh my God, I thought I'd never relived this nightmare of a day.
Do people ever stop you in the street and say, were you there?
Were you there at the hat burning ritual at Renato's? No, but thankfully that doesn't happen anymore, because now you can just go and have sex with people and just forget about it. So, which also that comes with a whole host of baggage as well. And I've had a few disastrous kind of stories to tell from that as well. But I'll save that for another episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to take a little break there, and we'll catch you in a bit. Have you seen any of the queens which are on Drag Race UK? Because I thought they might be on a similar circuit to you.
So I know some of the ones that are on the other TV show called
Drag SOS.
Yeah, Drag SOS. Yeah,
is on Channel 4.
Yeah. So Cheddar Gorgeous. I know Cheddar Gorgeous.
Yeah, but you're not really into Drag Race.
No.
At all. Why not?
Something about the fact that they always present immaculate is just boring to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's different styles. I think the American one is probably dictated by, they have lots of kind of pageants, don't they? So they have lots of drag queens and the look is everything.
Yeah.
The British one will be interesting because drag over here is kind of all about performance.
And I've worked with like the Blue Lips, which had a drag commune like in the 60s and 70s, and have hung out with them now, and they're all like in their 70s and 80s, and they're just like really inspiring because they just presented themselves really like quite shambolically,
right?
Like just like turning up in all sorts of trash, and I can get behind that.
I loved Kenny Everett when I was a kid.
Yeah. And that's really trashy.
Yeah, and that was just so funny to me. And also bending those gender stereotypes on mainstream TV in a time when you wouldn't really do that. But there's been a huge tradition of that in this country anyway, of comedians dressing as women. And, it's like a theatrical tradition. I like it when there is some kind of art form to it. And they do something. It's not just about looking pretty. There is some kind of concept to it, and there's concept to a performance. I want them to present something that I think about or laugh about, and is slightly more thought-provoking. But you've got a drag persona, haven't you?
Yeah. So she is called Annette Curtin, and actually because I've made her so located in my neighbourhood, Old Market, she doesn't really translate that well outside of that. I mean, like, she's a nosy neighbour with a difference, so you kind of perceive that she's like being quite judgmental over other people, but actually she's got kind of a deep sense of community.
Yeah.
And because Old Market is a place that's really changing culturally, her like major concern is like, where are these kind of other characters? Where are they going to go? Because everything's becoming like gentrified and kind of like bland and beige, really.
Yeah.
And so she's a big supporter of like the other.
The other. I played a cross-dressing sex shop owner in a film once, where I had to drag up a lot. In fact, there was a montage where I think I had to wear 15 different outfits in the afternoon. And I think that's what amazes me about some of these drag queens, because it's not just about dressing up as a woman, it's about doing the makeup and the hair, but also then performing on top of that and dancing, and it's I think some of them are amazingly talented, and it's quite phenomenal, all the stuff that they have to do for their art, as it were.
Yeah, but the makeup is like an art in itself.
Yeah, I mean that is an art in it. I mean, I had a makeup artist who did all my stuff. I can't do it myself.
Yeah.
But I don't think my hands are steady enough. They're a bit.
And I did do this one thing where I was asked to perform in a festival, and it was right at the end of the festival. And quite often with these kind of festivals, I leave before it's the end of the festival. But this festival, I stayed until the last closing hours. And so how the festival was ended was, I think there was a pack of about 15 of us, all dragged up as kind of drag artists. Some of the people had never done drag before, and we just went onto the festival site and all found different locations within the site, and all just found places to situate ourselves and just to cry. Like, we just cried everywhere. Like, we just walked around crying, and we wouldn't engage with people in terms of talking. We would just cry at them, and that was fun.
What was the premise behind that then?
Well, it wasn't my idea. It came from a kind of conceptual art point of view, I think. But I felt like maybe it was the last foray in terms of a festival.
Yeah.
In the last hours, sort of thing, and there was all these kind of tragic queens arriving. Felt very tragic.
But it is interesting what you said earlier, because I remember that years ago when I first came out, there was a benefit at the Watershed in Bristol, and there were a group of us that did drag, and all of them went really glam, and I was more interested in the character side of it, so I went as Olive from On the Buses. But bizarrely, I got more attention than anybody else did.
Well, that's a great character.
Exactly. So, so I think it's not always about the glamour. It's more about the character that you can bring out.
I can imagine that. I don't tend to go to Marks and Spencer's other than Christmas.
Okay. Is that your little special treat?
Yeah.
For Christmas. Okay.
Today at work we've already started Christmas conversations.
Really?
Planning the Christmas do, all that kind of thing.
Oh gosh. I don't really like to think about Christmas until December the 1st.
Well, now that I'm a one-day-a-week employed person, these are the things that they talk about in the team meeting.
Yeah. Well, I'm self-employed. Maybe I should think of having a...
Yeah, you don't think about it if you're self-employed.
Yeah, maybe I should think about having a Christmas do. We should have a Christmas do.
I'm up for that.
We should have a What That Old Queen Christmas do. What would be different about a couple of old queens having a Christmas do?
Well, we could have Christmas-related snacks.
Well, we're obviously going to have to do a Christmas episode, so we can think about that. We can think of what insect-based Christmas dishes we could have.
What?
Matthew, what would you like for Christmas?
I'd like a mortgage offer.
Okay. Do you think Santa will bring you a mortgage offer?
I want some
Cock rings.
but I do want some. I want some underpants that are ethically made and like high quality.
So bamboo you need to go for.
I have been looking at bamboo underpants actually. Yeah.
So yeah, but you still need to be careful.
But
What is
the
this
thing
thing with bamboo?
So bamboo is very good fabric.
I've got some bamboo socks.
Yeah.
Have you?
I've got a bamboo coffee cup and then there's a pole backlash.
So as a fabric, very, very soft. But you still need to be careful about how it's
Splinters.
how it's farmed. The same
Right.
as the same as any
Yeah.
like cotton, anything like that. You still need to be very careful about how it's farmed.
Right, ethically.
And basically,
Yeah.
I want like trunks. You know, like underpants that are down here rather than here because I find that they chafe. When
Yeah,
and I get a kind of itchy crotch.
I prefer a trunk
Yeah.
myself.
And what about the brief?
Yeah, but then you get a sweat. Don't you get an
Not at
itchy
Your thighs don't even
scrotum?
touch.
No, but not like here, like there. When they're cutting there, I get like itchy balls.
Have you might have a bit of fungus.
Yeah. Have you tried?
Yeah, I've had Caniston, and that does work.
Yeah, because I
So
have
do
to
you
do that.
also do you go to
Davis
the
as
gym
well.
and not shower after being to the gym?
I exercise and sometimes I don't shower after
There you
exercise.
go. See, so you have to, and you wear do you carry on wearing that underwear for the rest of the day?
Sometimes.
Yeah. So no.
Okay.
So if you're not going to shower at the gym, so take a clean pair or when you exercise, take a clean pair of pants with you and change your pants because you're
Just
that
sweat.
would just get you.
I only
get
do that
jockeyed.
sometimes. Usually I shower. Anyway.
Caniston David as well.
Yeah.
Because you will, you'll pass.
Yeah.
Actually, we both bought Caniston at the same time, didn't we?
Right.
Anyway.
Will you both be itchy together? I'm recording this, by the way. And Charlie, what would you like for Christmas?
I don't know. I'm pretty content at the moment.
World peace,
World peace.
Labour government,
A nice Irishman.
nice Irishman as Prime Minister.
Yeah, actually, he would be great. What's his name?
Leo Varadkar.
Oh, God, yes, please.
Yeah, he's quite handsome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything's better than what we've got.
The Birches.
No, not him.
Oh my god!
What would you like for Christmas?
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me. I think I would like you as Prime Minister.
I would be a really, really bad Prime Minister. I'm so sorry.
I think you might be quite a good one. You'd be bad in a good way.
I would take a lot of shit to be fair.
Mm.
Just like,
Yeah.
but I also don't know enough to be able to be Prime Minister. I do.
No, but you get the advice.
You have advisors for all that shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
do you
that's
think
the
any of
point.
the Prime
Yeah,
Ministers
that's the
know
point.
anything?
So the advisors, you'd need to be able to choose the correct advisors because if you end up with shit advisors, you get shit advice.
Right, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Like
but...
the Queen.
yeah. Well, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
What would you like for Christmas?
Mm.
Don't know.
A minute's silence.
I really like the episode in Fleabag when they both attend a feminist lecture, and their sister and the lecturer says, "How many of you would sacrifice 2 years of your life to look eternally young?" And both of them are like putting their hands up. And they look around and everyone is like
And from that, I would like to look at Sam Leon.
Okay, isn't that modern feminism? Still being feminist, but also wanting to look eternally young.
I don't feel equipped enough to say either way on that.
No. David, Hendy?
Actual word piece, please.
Actual word piece?
No, do you know what? I'd quite like a Labour government.
Yes. Hear, hear.
The end.
The end. So I've got a few more questions here. I'm a pup, but my face is too pretty for those goddamn awful pup masks. Can you recommend a high fashion alternative that will fulfill my need to serve face and keep my handler happy? Yours in perpetuity, Butch of Bristol.
But it's got to be Phantom of the Opera, hasn't it?
Oh, I love that. I would like that. I think I'd rather wear a Phantom of the Opera mask than a...
In pup style.
Than a pup mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is that more...
The pup of the opera is here, inside my mind.
The puppy of the opera. The puppy of the opera. I feel like you're more of a daddy if you're the Phantom of the Opera, though, than the pup. It feels like more of a daddy mask to wear rather than...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a Robin mask. I think Robin is more of a pup than...
Yeah, but they're still... They're saying that they're too pretty for that.
Oh, yeah, but you're still showing some of your face. You're just covering up the kind of eye area, aren't you?
Well, you're just showing your lips, aren't you, and a bit of your nose.
Yeah. Rather than covering everything up.
Well, if they've got nice full lips...
Yeah.
Then, yeah, maybe that's the thing.
Have you got any tips for nice full lips?
Well, there is a product on the market. I think it's from Benefit.
Right.
It's like a lip balm.
Right.
But it gives you a sort of rather like the ginger.
It gives you a bit of a sensation.
It gives you a tingling sensation, and it gives you the bee sting look.
Oh, the bee sting look.
Yeah. So it puffs up your lips a bit.
Okay. Oh, maybe that's a selling point for those insect snacks.
Yeah.
Bee sting.
Yeah.
Bee sting lips. Okay. All right. Well, we've got more questions. Okay. I've got another question for us. Dear old queens, you talk a lot about dating and relationships, but I still think one is fun. I'm currently in the market to upgrade my personal time, in inverted commas, and searching for some toys to enhance my experience.
Oh, yeah.
What do you recommend, and where do I look for these toys? And that's from asking for a friend in Bolton. So, so he's talking about sex toys.
Yes.
Do you have any sex toys?
No.
Do you not?
No.
Wow.
But someone was telling me about this, and they said to me, and they kept saying, what I needed to do to make sure that I was ready and prepared for every eventuality was start using a dildo more.
Right.
And then they said, but the problem with dildos is they're so expensive. You could just use an apple and wrap it in a condom. And I was like, that's really weird. An apple? What? And he kept saying an apple. And then after a while he went, sorry, I didn't mean an apple, I meant a carrot.
I mean, an apple is quite...
It would be quite weird, wouldn't it?
Well, I think you're into quite extreme things if you're going to put an apple inside you.
Yeah.
But I've heard of carrots before,
Yeah.
and I've heard of people warming them up slightly in the microwave so their body temperature,
Okay.
so it feels
Thanks for the tip.
like...
There is a carrot in my fridge.
And then we're getting into food fetish again. But, dildos. I think you need to be quite careful with dildos because you need to have they need to be like medical grade silicone or rubber, I think, because otherwise you can get quite toxic, cheap toys.
What if you were to wrap it in a condom?
I think if you wrapped it in a condom, it's probably safer, isn't it? But there's lots of things on the market. You could have a dildo, or you could get like a prostrate
Pleaser?
pleaser. Yes, I mean, get ones that vibrate, or you can get like bigger ones, metal ones, or masturbators.
Yeah. What are those ones that sort of emulate a hole and then you just...
Well, that's a masturbator.
Oh, okay. So there isn't there, but there's also a
So a
thing
fleshlight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which essentially is a masturbator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also another thing that kind of grips on and then moves up and down.
Oh.
Have you seen that?
I think I have seen that, but I don't know what it's called. A sleeve. It's like a masturbatory sleeve, perhaps.
When they say they're thinking about upgrading, does that mean that they've already got the sort of budget end and they want to go?
Well, I said I'm thinking. I'm in the market to upgrade my personal time, so maybe they're fed up of doing it themselves and they want something extra to...
Where would you go if you wanted to get sex toys?
Probably online, because it's probably less embarrassing. But, Ann Summers do them, don't they?
And they arrive in very discreet packaging.
So I've heard. In terms of a dildo, I think if you're just starting out, then you probably don't want like a gargantuan one, do you?
No.
You probably want a starter one or something like that. You can get them where porn stars have like moulded their penises and...
Or just daytime TV presenters.
Has Pip Schofield got a dildo?
I don't know, what would that be like? I didn't imagine it would be adequate.
But probably, yeah. I mean, it depends. I guess porn stars, you've probably seen it, so you might... You fancy
You'd know
them.
the one you want.
Yeah. You fancy them. You got the cut of his jib, and but that's what you want to insert into your body.
Whereas Pip Schofield...
Pip Schofield is an unknown quantity.
Who knows?
As far as I can tell. But maybe that's a new venture for him after the WeBuyAnyCar.com advertising campaign runs out.
Is that what he's doing?
Apparently, yes, he is. Yeah.
Okay.
Along with Good Morning. But
I just recently got obsessed with Andy Peters.
Andy Peters
on Instagram. I'm just like I just watch everything that he puts up.
Traditionally was a children's TV presenter, and now he's a producer, right?
I don't think. Probably a little bit of producer, but mostly he's sort of works for Lorraine Kelly.
I'd love to work for Lorraine Kelly.
It'd be a lot of fun.
I wonder what sex toy she has.
Oh, I don't know.
Does she have a Pip Schofield dildo, do you think?
I don't know what she'd do. Yeah, potentially. Who knows? Maybe she'd have an Andy Peters.
I imagine she's quite dirty.
Mm.
That Celtic blood.
Mm.
Mm.
She's looking really good, isn't she?
Yeah, she looks amazing. I love her. I mean, she's like a national treasure, isn't she? Maybe she should be one of our wish list interviewers.
Oh, she'd be
interviewees.
brilliant. Yeah.
She'd probably be amazing. Anyway, where should this guy get his sex toys?
It's just bogged down to like what shop. What was the question? Like, should he, or what was the question? Like,
it was
where would?
What do we recommend?
Oh, right.
And where should he go and get them?
Yeah,
I mean, it depends if you're into anal or not, or whether you want something. I mean, you know,
is there a long letter?
There's not a long letter. there's like nipple clamps, nipple suckers. You know, masturbators, dildos, vibrators, prostrate pleasers. There's all sorts. I mean, the world is your lobster in many respects.
I've got a lobster that operates as a nipple clamp.
Lobster nipple clamps. Great. I love the sound of that. I guess what might be quite good is if you actually went in to see what the sex toy was like.
I mean, a lot of these people that work in those shops are actually... Nothing phases them. They're very pleasant, you know. They've seen it all before and they want to talk about their...
experience.
Yeah. So...
I think some people get quite nervous about going into a sex shop. But maybe you shouldn't. And that's what they're there for. That's what you're there for. And go and ask some advice. Go and have a look at these toys and see which one's the best for you.
Yeah, don't go right into us.
Well, I'm glad that they've written to us because it fills up a proportion of our show.
That's true.
You know, so yeah, I think that's the answer. Or if you want a more discreet option, buy online. But you know, it's potluck, isn't it? You might not like it when it turns up.
But if you're buying online, I would say play it safe, and then you can always go higher, bigger, better.
Yes,
whatever.
Yeah. So if you're starting out, go small, and then look into increasing the pleasure at a later date. Dear old queens, I often find myself pondering the cosmic mysteries, particularly those of the cosmos, sorry. I often find myself pondering cosmic mysteries, particularly those of the cosmos. I mean, is that... there's a word for that, isn't it? Because you're kind of saying the same thing in the same sentence. Do you think there is life on other planets? Might there be gay aliens? And would they sleep with me? And that's from I Think I've Been Anally Probed in Bognor.
What's a gay alien called?
A Galian?
Yeah. I was just thinking that.
Wow. This is quite philosophical.
It reminds me of when the aliens came down in Spice World, the movie, and didn't they sort of have a bit of a feel of Jerry's breasts or something?
Did they? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
I think I was drunk at the time. I don't know. What do you think about alien life?
It's actually like, it's not much. I don't really think about it that much, but now you're forcing me into a corner. I would
quite literally.
Yeah. I would say that I would believe that to be true.
Well, when you look up at the night sky and there's so many stars, and I mean, there's billions, and there's potentially, billions and billions of planets. There's got to be life out there, isn't there?
I mean, that's interesting that they always, when they're presented to you in films or books or whatever, they usually represent some kind of version of a human form, which is slightly arrogant, really, for us to assume that.
It is a bit arrogant,
Yeah.
but also maybe it's the perfect life form for the universe. Yeah, but who knows? I don't know. Would you have sex with an alien?
Yeah. Of course.
Or like a Klingon. I've got a little Klingon kind of fetish. I'd quite like to have sex with a Klingon.
What is a Klingon? I thought a Klingon was when you did a poo and it stuck to you.
I'm not talking about piles again. I'm talking about Star Trek. Yeah, I'm sure there's gay aliens. If there's gay humans and gay animals, there's going to be gay aliens, aren't there?
But how do we tap into them?
I don't know. I mean, it's about bloody time they made themselves known, isn't it? In a fabulous way. Like those flying saucers have loads of lights on. They should just come down, playing disco, and we all join them in a field in some fantastic kind of love fest. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah.
I've got friends that are doing a project called, don't know, I think it's called like 20 Years of Life on Mars. And so they're like researching the possibility of living on Mars.
Right.
Us humans, really. Have they said that there's no life form on Mars?
So this is interesting because it looks like there used to be life on Mars because Mars used to be very similar to Earth at one stage in the past. I've got a very outlandish theory about Mars, which will make me sound weird. But I think humans are from Mars, and I think we refugeed here.
Okay.
And that's why we don't really know what our history is, because we probably came here and destroyed the indigenous life, and then...
Is that the origin of my surname?
It's the origin of yours. Marshman. I think you're very much... Martian.
Yeah.
I think you are from Mars. How do you feel about that?
I'm just pleased to be representing that community.
Yeah. Alien-human hybrid. You know, everyone's welcome.
They don't have that box to tick.
Well, I know, and that's what I want. I mean, you can tick a Jedi box now, but I want alien-human hybrid box because I sometimes don't feel like I belong here either. Who knows? Would they have sex with this person, do you think?
Why don't they get into what are those circles called?
Stonehenge? What?
Like in fields where...
Oh, a crop circle.
A crop circle. I would just like hang around naked or in a thong in the centre of a crop circle and see what happens.
Yeah, and I would do it at like the spring or autumn equinox or...
spring.
Or the summer solstice.
Summer solstice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's warm.
Yeah.
And, or Stonehenge even, as long as the police aren't around to arrest you and get rid of you. Wait for an alien to come and anally probe you. or whatever they like to do. I mean, their sexual kind of act might be very different from ours.
That's true.
Might be a bit scary. You might just touch hands and feel ecstasy. A la Barbarella or something.
Well, that would make it a whole lot easier.
And a whole less messy, let's face it. Anyway, on that note...
but please keep us informed of your progress.
If any of you have had sex with an alien, please do like, share and subscribe to our podcast. We're available on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean and Stitcher now. I love Stitcher because it has an LGBTQ plus section rather than a vague section that everybody else has. But you can contact us on Twitter, Facebook, or email us via our website, whatthatOldQueen.com. But let us know if you've had sex with an alien or an alien experience. I mean, I want to hear about this stuff. Don't you?
Totally.
Yeah, and if any of those aliens have some outlandish schnacks that they could share with us, that's also, or a kinky act.
Yeah.
I mean,
what are they snacking at?
I don't know. What are they snacking out of? Maybe what kind of kinks do aliens have as well? I mean, is having sex with an alien a kink? Is there an alien mask that you can wear instead of a pup mask?
I think that's already happening.
Is it happening right now?
Somewhere in the world.
I knew I was being anally proud. Okay, and on that note, we shall leave you for this episode of What That Old Queen. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye. Say goodbye, Tommy.
Goodbye, Tommy.
Goodbye. You have been listening to What? That Old Queen, presented by Tom Marshman and Bernie Hodges. The show was produced by Bernie Hodges in January 2020 for Hodge Podcasting. If you would like to discuss sponsoring this podcast, or you'd like to be a guest, or you just have a question for the Old Queens, please email hello@thatoldqueen.com or find us on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter.